Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you very much for joining us online, remotely, and in the room here at ODI for this conversation. I hope it will be a conversation on gauging the climate before Sendai. My name's Sam Bickersteth. I'm part of ODI in the sense that I lead CDKN, which is an ODI program, amongst others, and it's a great privilege to work a lot with ODI colleagues on the theme of disaster risk reduction, in which ODI and CDKN have been producing a number of publications and analyses of the state of the climate before Sendai, and will be engaging in the meeting itself, which I believe will be on the 18th and 19th of March, quite soon now. So today we're looking in particular at the climate aspects of Sendai. There's clearly a wider set of objectives in the World Conference on Disaster Risk Reduction, and a set of issues that need to be addressed beyond climate. And of course, we may touch on those, and that's fine. But I think our focus is particularly the climate dimensions of that. The CDKN, the Climate Development Knowledge Network, is concerned about efficient and effective humanitarian response and disaster management, but particularly in the context of climate-related disasters. And that's why, on this occasion, we'd like to have some of the focus on that aspect of the Third World Conference. Let me introduce our panel, who are located around the world. We have Ben Weisner from Oberlin College in the United States, who is joining us online. That's Ben on our screen, so we can see you, Ben. Welcome from an early morning in Ohio. And apparently has a poltergeist in his house, which may interrupt us at some point, so watch out for that. We're also very pleased to have Harjit Singh from ActionAid. Harjit's the manager of adaptation and resilience, very involved in climate change, and in fact earlier agriculture. Harjit and I were engaged in some of the food policy debates a number of years ago, but Harjit leads very actively ActionAid's engagement around climate and disaster risk reduction. So it's a pleasure to have Harjit Singh on the line from Delhi. So welcome to you, Harjit. And on my left, Ursula Antwi-Bosiako, who is a policy advisor in DFID. Welcome, Ursula, who has been very involved in working on the UK position for the conference. Ursula is also supporter of the political champions for disaster resilience. So you're in the thick of it in humanitarian DRR. So great to have you, and thank you for finding the time. Lindsay Jones is part of the home team here, and is a research fellow, very involved in climate change adaptation and DRR work. So it's great to have Lindsay here. So 4 experts, but I think actually probably a lot of other experts online. We have a large number of online participants, so welcome to all those who are listening in, and welcome to those in the room. So to start the conversation, I'm going to ask each of the panelists to speak for 5 or 7 minutes. I'll be a little bit tough about that if we go much over that. And then we'll see how provocative they are immediately, actually, but ideally hold your questions, and then we can have a broad conversation after that and involve people online and their questions, and those of us in the room. So does that sound all right? We have till 1:30, so we have hopefully plenty of time. And for those of us in London, we may even have lunch, coffee and refreshments, and even food outside. So encourage you, therefore, to stay to the end to chat to those of us around. So thank you very much. Now, I would like to propose we go to Ben first, not just because the poltergeist might interrupt, but because Ben is telling us he's trying to think about the broader context of this. And let me say a couple of words on that, about the context before I pass to Ben in the United States. We have a text. In fact, we have a copy sitting on everyone's desk here. So those of you online, if you don't have access to the latest text, you might want to Google it and find it, because we might want to look at it. But it's not just about the conference itself, the 2 days, very short 2 days of the conference and the many side events and conversations. It's about what happens afterwards. In the short term, what happens afterwards, from my perspective, internationally, is a set of other international events, conferences, treaty negotiations associated with climate and development that run through the year. And there's the whole issue of how do they connect. So one of the issues is coherence between these events. The second thing is, well, what does the World Conference on Disaster Risk Reduction and the framework say about poverty, vulnerability, and development challenges itself? Thirdly, we might want to think about finance, because we have a finance for development conference which may well set the framework for many years ahead to match the work of the SDGs, which will set the framework to 2030. And then, of course, we have Paris and the UNFCCC COP21 in December. So a lot of interconnected events, and how do these themes of development, humanitarian, climate change, equity is another issue that runs through this, weave together. I think we need to look at that big picture, and I'd like to pass to you, Ben, to build on that.